Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mrs. Cumberbatch, your most favorite and the best manifestation trainer in this entire world. So, today actually something happened with me and this thought popped up and I wanted to share it with all of you. Um Again, my the way that I make these videos is because of the comments and the posts that I read on the Neville Goddard's and manifestation and law of assumption communities on Reddit, basically. So some person from my past today was behaving a certain way that I did not like, and in that moment I sat there without replying, without responding. And while the thing was happening, I don't want to go into details and as to who that person was, but I've had a tumultuous history with that person, basically. And I was just sitting there and I was like, in this moment, I have two choices. I either choose the person that they are right in front of me, or I choose the desired version. Obviously, it was emotionally heavy for me. There were flashbacks for me, and you know, the anger came up, the frustration came up, and it was so seducing in that moment to lose my shit and clap back and you know go into the old cycle and the old pattern. But I calmed myself down. I took a deep breath and I told myself that I refuse to accept this and I choose the version that is desirable to me, that I desire, right? And obviously, it was not a magic trick. It did not take a second for me to jump into another state. No, it took a few minutes for my body and my brain to calm down. But after that was done, I felt so accomplished and I felt like I did not give in. The one thing that all of y'all need to understand is the 3D that you are seeing right now in front of you is the version of your past assumptions. And if you look at the 3D and you accept it, and if you go with it, of course, in if you are in the harm's way or if you are actively in an abusive situation, getting out of that situation is the first thing that you need to do, and then you can revise and you can manifest. But it for me, that wasn't the case. It was just a verbal sparring, and it was not abusive. Basically, it was just emotionally tolling, right? So I had the choice to choose, and I chose the right thing because I have revised that person, extensively, and I go through the revisions every day. I refuse to accept the old version or uh, look at the old version anymore. And it was a test. When the 3D was in my face, I had the choice to choose, and I chose the version that I wanted. So, the reason why I'm telling you all of this is because anytime you're manifesting, anytime you are in the process of manifestation and the 3D is in your face, right? Again, if you are in an abusive situation, if you are in a bad situation, actively getting harmed, you need to get out of that situation first, and then we can take care of everything else. Okay, this is not to say that you get harmed in any way, absolutely not. But if you can if you can refuse to choose the version that you're seeing in the 3D and choose your desire. You know, the reason being, every moment you shift your reality, and the choice that you make will decide which reality you're going to stay in. And this is something that happens every moment. Now, let's come back. I'm going to quote a little bit of Bible, and I read Bible a lot basically. So, you know, my understanding comes from that, and obviously Neville Goddard, Joseph Murphy, and all the teachers. So y'all must have heard the story of Adam and Eve, right? The the story where everything started. Now, as Neville has stated that Bible is a psychological drama. So when I understood that part, and I went back to the Adam and Eve story. I was thinking about it and I was pondering over it, and I'm like, what does this story mean, and why is it said that this is where everything began? So I'll paraphrase. Obviously, I'm not going to go into the details, but Adam and Eve lived in the heaven, right? And God Father told them, "Y'all have everything, whatever you want. You will live the best life, but the only thing that you're supposed to do is not eat. There is a particular tree and there's a fruit. You're not supposed to eat that fruit." As simple as that. Now, they started living, they were happy, and blah blah blah. And then a snake came and started whispering in Eve's ears, right? Whispering in Eve's ears, and Eve heard him, heard the snake once, twice, thrice, and I don't know however many times, but eventually she gave in, and she somehow made Adam also give in, and they ate the fruit. The moment they ate the fruit, they were banished to the earth, right? They were banished. Now, Father is forgiving. Adam and Eve asked for forgiveness, and Father forgave them, and they were again put into heaven. Now, what does this story tell you? Adam and Eve are you. There is a masculine and feminine in both the states are in you at any given time. You are masculine and feminine at the same time, and I'm not talking about the biology, and I'm not talking about the genders, and I'm not talking about all of that. I am talking about the states, right? Adam and Eve are you. The snake is your conscious mind. The tree the tree is the 3D, and the kingdom of heaven is, of course, heaven. Now, Father said, again, I'm going to go back to the story. Father said, as long as you remain in the kingdom of heaven and you want to remain in the kingdom of the heaven, do not eat the fruit. And what does that mean? It means do not seek validation from the 3D. Correct? The moment you seek validation from the 3D, you're banished from the kingdom of heaven. That is, you are removed from the 4D and you are put into the 3D completely. But Father is ever forgiving, ever loving. The very next moment, He asks you the same question. Are you going to remain in the kingdom of heaven, or you're going to eat the fruit? Now, the snake will keep whispering. If you give in, you're going to be banished. And if you don't, you will remain in the kingdom of heaven, that is in your 4D, that is in your real reality. Now, this particular drama takes place every moment in your life. Every moment that you are aware, you have a choice. And that choice is either You can remain in your kingdom of heaven, or you get banished and put into the 3D completely. So this is the drama that is taking place every moment, and every moment Father asks you, not obviously not physically, but it is happening. He asks you, are you going to remain in the kingdom of heaven, or are you going to be banished? Now, there are times when the snake is very loud, very, very loud. You know, the conscious mind, the 3D is very loud. You still have a choice. It comes down to discipline. You still have a choice. Again, this is the third time that I'm saying, if you are actively getting harmed, your life is in danger, you are in an abusive situation, get out of that. Forget about everything, save your life, get out of that. But apart from that, there are money issues, there are SP issues, whatever it is, you still have a choice. And even if the 3D is bad, you can do whatever it is that you have to do in the 3D, but in your mind, you still have a choice to choose your desired reality. And nobody can take that choice away from you. And that is what is known as free will. That is what is known as free will. I have worked with a lot of clients, and you know, I obviously stay in touch with all my clients 24 by 7. My uh, chat is open. I answer questions and I actively talk to my clients, and they are doing their techniques. I'm meeting them, and all of that. But they come to me and they tell me, this happened, this happened, this happened, Mrs. Cumberbatch. I am in this situation. In that moment, you are choosing to talk about shit. You are choosing to believe and to trust the 3D. It's an illusion. You have a choice to not choose it, to not trust it, to refuse it, to take attention away from it. And I am not saying this is the easiest thing in this world. Of course not, because I have been in a lot of situations where I have lost my attention. And of course, later on, I have revised that. But yes, I have been in situations. I am not saying like I am 100% there. I am getting there now, obviously. But the point is, no matter what you see, no matter what you see, you still have a choice. You still have that free will to be able to choose. And the choice that you make will govern the rest of your life. You need to be very cautious. You need to be very cautious as to what you are choosing. This is extremely important. No amount of techniques. You can find the best technique on this planet. No amount of technique will get you there. You are you are affirming 24 by 7. You are visualizing, you are scripting, journaling, and whichever technique you choose. But there are times when you're not actively doing those techniques. What are you choosing? What exactly are you choosing? So, this question needs to be asked, and you need to ask yourself this question again and again and again. What am I choosing in this moment? Am I eating the fruit, or am I remaining in my kingdom of heaven? So, again, let's go back a little bit. You are in an abusive situation, you are in a bad situation, get out of it. Do everything in the 3D to get out of it. Okay? Now, you must have heard, it is written in the Bible as well, and a lot of religions. It says, if you are getting slapped on one cheek, show the other cheek as well. Then I used to ponder over it and I used to think, why is it asking you to get more abused? Why? And eventually, when I started patterning and when I started working on my hidden beliefs and my, you know, past and all of that, when I started revising, I realized that a lot of people in my life who have quote unquote wronged me, I held a lot of grudge towards them. I held a lot of frustration, anger, sadness, victim mindset. And it is, I don't feel guilty about it because I didn't know any better. But something that I realized was that anger, that frustration, and all of those negative emotions, it is doing nothing to those people, but it is poisoning me. And it was not an easy choice to make. I am not denying that I just went and I'm like, oh yeah, just screw it and it is not affecting me. No, it did affect me. It was difficult for me. I had to unravel decades of negative emotions. I kept myself awake for nights. I had to sit with those emotions, those that seducing feeling of remaining in that state of anger. But it was poisoning me. It was governing my life. It was governing my life. I did not go and talk to those people. I did not go and suddenly became a saint and no, I'm sorry, it was my fault and let's have a good relationship. I did not do any of that. But I chose in my mind to revise that. And anytime the thought popped up or anytime the flashback came, I would actively choose to not accept it. I actively told myself that that memory is not true. That did not happen. I It wasn't easy. I'm not a crier, I'm not a big crier, I don't cry much. But it used to make me cry. And it takes a lot, you know, for me to cry. But yeah, it used to make me cry. And it used to be difficult for me because when I was actively choosing to refuse those memories, I was denying those memories. My brain was pulling me towards my comfort zone. That was the anger, that was the sadness, that was the victim mentality. And it was so seducing. I can't explain the fight that I went through. There was a war going on in my head at every moment, and it went on for days. But there were times when the 3D was in my face. I had to see those people, I had to meet those people, I had to talk to those people. But I refused to uh, not choose the right thing for myself, not for them. They don't matter because everyone is you pushed out. They don't matter. I do. And I wanted to create my own kingdom of heaven within myself. And that's what I did. I chose the difficult things. I kept choosing over and over and over again. I did not give in to the devil's snare no matter what. And eventually, those people, there was a shift in their demeanor. Some people apologized, literally came and apologized to me, where no matter how much I would have screamed or cried or begged in front of them, they refused to acknowledge what they've done to me. Some people I hadn't spoken to in decades came back, apologizing. People who treated me like shit changed overnight. Why? And it did not make me feel anything. I suddenly didn't feel like, oh my god, I'm this and that. No, There were some people that I refused to speak to at all, right? And I'm still working through that. But the point is, my internal world changed. It doesn't matter what changed in the 3D. My whole and sole purpose was to change myself, because nothing to change but self. Correct? So, my whole point was to change myself and not get triggered, not feel anger, frustration, not wake up feeling like I've been wronged, sorry, by everything and everyone in my life. And I did that. And today, if at all my mind goes back to those scenarios, it's like watching a scene from a movie. I don't feel anything. It does not trigger me. A lot of my phobias have been healed completely. A lot of mm, how do I say, I can sleep peacefully. I wake up feeling happy. I don't feel like the world is out to get me anymore. I don't feel scared anymore. My mental health is absolutely fine. I'm off all the medications. I don't take any medications anymore. I had a lot of gut problems. Those have healed. I've lost a lot of weight. The thing is, this choice belongs to you. Nobody can make it for you. Nobody can do it for you. And no matter who tells you how many videos you watch, and they say you can instantly manifest in 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and whatever. Jesus. The thing is, the choice still belongs to you, and nothing on the outside can change that for you. I am not saying just suddenly go and forgive everyone and suddenly go and start being nice to everyone. You do not do anything in the 3D. You do not take any actions in the 3D. You change yourself. Even if that person is standing in front of you who has wronged you, you do not give in to the seduction of the comfort zone, that is your anger, your frustration, and whatnot. Choose to remain in the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven does not have anything bad in it. And those emotions are not ruining their lives, it is ruining yours. And you need to understand that. And you need to accept that. Sit with it for some time and ask yourself whether you really want to change. And if you do, choose then. Choose. It is not going to be easy. I'm not saying that it will take a second for the things to change. Absolutely not. No, it is not going to be easy. But it will be the best choice and the decision that you've ever made in your life. All right. So this is it for today. And I will see you in my next video. I love you all. And before I end it, I would like to say that if you want to work with me, the details and everything else is in the description. I also offer a self concept course. And the people who have worked with me, their comments, and you can talk to them in person as well. You can head to my Reddit, which is with the same name, Mrs. Cumberbatch, and I am a moderator of Neville Goddard subreddit. So you can read my success stories and whatnot on that page, and I will leave a link in the description, and you can find the chat options and call options and everything else. So I will see you in the next video. I love you all. Bye.